Ladies and gentlemen, it is now 4 p.m. I am Edith Shi, President of the International Institute. As chairman of the meeting, I am delighted to welcome everyone, members here and those that are participating via live streaming, to this annual general meeting of the Institute of Charter Secretaries and Administrators. I know that we have the quorum of 20 members present. I can now declare this meeting open. First of all, please, could you ensure that your mobile phones are shut off or turned to silent or vibration mode? Thank you. Let me begin by introducing my colleagues here with me today. I am joined by Joe Parrott, Vice President of the Institute and Council Member for Southern Africa, Peter Turnbull on the right side, Vice President of the Institute and Council Member for Australia, Tim Sheehy, Director General of the Institute, and Simon Osborne, Secretary of the Institute. Before I turn to the substance of my remarks, I would like to thank those who, in their different ways, have brought us to this meeting today. Within the Institute, I would like to thank all my colleagues on the Council and our executives for all their hard work and support. A particular tribute is due to David Venus, my predecessor as President, and Frank Bush, Chairman of our Professional Standards Committee, for their outstanding efforts in carrying the Institute through a demanding and fruitful phase of its development. In addition to the tremendous help from our Canada division, we are indebted to Stikeman Elliott and to Computershare for providing the venues in Toronto for our council and committee meetings. Lumi, in collaboration with West, have provided live streaming to facilitate sharing of the proceedings today with our members across the world. Such support is itself just one illustration of the global network which is being built by our Institute. I have already had the opportunity to share my thoughts on the direction of my term of office as International President over the next 2 years. So I will not repeat today the themes I set out in my President's report dated the 24th of July 2018. That report sets out my commitments to you, our members, on diversity, inclusivity, relevance, quality, and value. Together with our Council, I will be accountable to members for delivering these commitments. In my brief remarks today, I wish to focus briefly on one of the key matters which falls for our decision in this AGM. Although I have already written to members on the proposed change of name of our Institute, I welcome this opportunity to speak to you directly on this subject. Every company, entity, or organization, be it in the public sector, the private sector, both listed and non-listed, or the non-governmental sector, has governance. This gives rise to two issues. First, whether that governance has been chosen or opposed to just happening. Secondly, whether that governance is good, bad, or indifferent. It is clear that good governance creates value at every level. At the individual level, it helps us pursue rewarding and developing careers in a fair, honest, and constructive working environment. At the organization level, it provides a platform for the creation of sustainable value. At the widest level, good governance promotes the delivery of goods and services on terms which meet the expectations of our society, including as to their financial, social, and economic implications. It is equally clear that our members, be they company secretaries or other governance professionals, have a central role in ensuring that organizations in which they work make the choice of good governance and implement and sustain that choice. Against this background, it is timely, right, and important that our Institute repositions itself in recognition of the importance of governance and the role of our members in providing excellence in governance. The change of name to the Chartered Governance Institute is a decision which lies before us today. I hope you will support this proposal. However, the change of name is just an expression of the substantial changes that will make our institute and our members a leading global voice in good governance. As from the 1st of January 2019, most of various divisions will be starting the new qualifying programs. There will be two dimensions to this. We recognize that not all corporate governance professionals are or intend to become company secretaries, but all of them should be welcomed within our institute and embraced within our overriding mission to promote excellence in governance. Secondly, the contents of our qualifying programs is being revised, updated, and reinforced to strengthen our members' capabilities in areas of growing importance, such as risk management and board dynamics. We must help our members equip themselves for the ever-widening range of our responsibilities. The Chartered Governance Institute will combine its local presence through its capable and influential divisions with a global reach. We will promote high standards of professionalism amongst all our members. We will raise the profile of our profession, and we will aim to be an influential voice in promoting excellence in governance for the benefit of our members, the organization we serve, and the communities to which we belong. By way of example, the Institute will be partnering with our China-Hong Kong division to host a corporate governance conference in Beijing. This is the first ever of the International Institute in March next year. This is just one example of the widening geographical reach of our activities and how the Institute can work with our divisions to give greater visibility to the contribution which we and our members make to sharing governance practices and experience. I am confident that I can rely on the support of our Council in strengthening its own capabilities to meet our growing role, and of our divisions across the world who will bear much of the workload this involves. Most of all, I am confident that I can rely on you, our members, to set an individual example of excellence in governance to the credit of ourselves and our Institute. Now I would like to turn the floor to the Chief Executive, Tim Sheehy, for his address.
Thank you, Edith. It's an honor and pleasure to be able to speak to members this evening in regard to the brand reposition of this organization and its change of name to the Chartered Governance Institute. Tonight, or this afternoon rather, is a very encouraging moment. Clearly there is strong support for the changes that have been put before members. And last year, with the other changes we proposed, there was also strong support. I think that all of those on Council and all the divisional chief executives should be encouraged by the support we're getting from members. Our members want their organization to change and evolve, and they clearly approve of what has been proposed. The Institute now has the building blocks in place to represent itself to members and the wider group of stakeholders, and as an organization that represents a wide range of governance professionals. Of course, the Institute will always equip people with the skills and knowledge a person needs to be a company secretary, and it will always equip people with a solid understanding of what good governance can bring and what value it can add. But with the importance of good governance now being placed on many, many more roles and organizations, it's time that the Institute represented itself as the home. We now have a chance to strongly state who we are. The Institute can be an educator, mentor, influencer, advocator, promoter, practitioner. The Institute can be a leader of good governance around the world. The Institute can represent and support those people in organizations, company secretaries, governance professionals, risk and compliance managers, non-executive directors, and more. Anyone who takes on governance responsibilities. The Institute must aim to be the global standard which aspiring governance professionals aim to reach. Our objective is to have the world look to us for our views, our current thinking, as well as how governance will be shaped in the future. The Institute must always provide support, always have a voice, always move forward, and always be innovative. This institute has many strengths. It has an international reach and has had a network for decades. It has a common body of knowledge that we have been teaching for decades, and we have a common set of values. These assets cannot be taken for granted, and we must leverage off that. I would like to acknowledge the work of everyone who has gotten us to where we are today. Everyone on the executive committee, all of the council, all the chief executives, many members of the professional standards committee, many members of divisional committees. Much work has been undertaken over the last 2 years. We have developed a momentum, and we must keep that momentum going. So we have a lot of work to do, but we've done a lot, and we should feel very proud. Thank you.
We have 12 resolutions to put to the meeting this afternoon. I will summarize them for you. To receive the report of Council on the business of the Institute and the comprehensive financial statements of the Institute for the year ended 30th of June 2018. These are resolutions 1 and 2. Second, to amend the preamble, Article 2 and Article 4 of the Institute's Charter to provide a new name of the Institute, the Chartered Governance Institute, and to allow the broadening of the objects of the Institute to be more encompassing of the wider remit of governance. These are in resolutions 3, 4, and 5. The third, to amend Article 8 and Article 20 of the Institute's Charter to increase the permitted number of vice presidents from 2 to 3, and to remove some now redundant duplication in describing Eucreate and the Eucreate division. This is in Resolution 6. Fourthly, to petition Her Majesty the Queen to grant a supplemental charter to reflect the charter amendments. This is in Resolution 7. Fifth, to amend Bylaw 1.1 to give effect to the new name of the Institute, the Chartered Governance Institute. That's Resolution number 8. Sixth, to amend Bylaw 44.1 to give effect to changes within the composition of the Council. That's Resolution number 9. Seventh, to amend a series of bylaws to give effect to housekeeping changes, including clarifying the eligibility requirements for alternate council members and the role of alternates for the chair of PSC when attending council meetings. This is Resolution number 10. The eighth point is, and the remaining resolutions are to authorize the Secretary to take steps necessary to bring the changes to the Charter and bylaws to effect. And these are embedded in resolutions 11 and 12. I would like to take questions from members on any of the business before us this afternoon. Before I do so, may I ask if you wish to note the proxy instructions that I currently hold as chairman, in order that you get a flavor of the views of those members who were unable to join us this afternoon? Or would you prefer to wait until the end of the afternoon? I would like to take the sense of the meeting. Yes? So the results collected so far will be displayed and read out by the Secretary.
Well, while we're waiting for the slide to come up, Resolution 1, for 1,900, against 10, withheld 16. Resolution 2, 1,895 for, 9 against, 22 withheld. Resolution 3, 1,746 in favour, 153 against, 27 withheld. Resolution 4, which is the change of name, 1,711 for, 198 against, 17 withheld. Resolution 5, 1,744, 144 against, 38 vote withheld. Resolution 6, 1,742 in favour, 147 against, 37 withheld. Resolution 7, 1,741 for, 148 against, 37 withheld. Resolution 8, 1,715 for, 180 against and 31 withheld. Resolution 9, 1,753 for, 132 against and 41 withheld. Resolution 10, 1,759 in favour, 124 against, 43 withheld. Resolution 11, 1,754 in favour, 131 against, 41 withheld. And finally, Resolution 12, 1,761 for, 129 against, and 36 withheld.
Thank you, Simon. Now let's go back to the question and answer session. If you wish to ask a question, please move over to the microphone to the front. And for members who are participating online, please send your questions through the online platform. And please raise your blue poll card before taking to the microphone. Thank you. Yes.
It's a very quick question. How many members do we have in total?
The entire institute?
Yes.
Members are close to 30,000.
It's about 29, 30,000. Yeah. Yes.
So this is a reflection of how many chose to vote through the proxy.
Yes, but we also discussed this earlier today. There are many members who've looked at the resolutions and decided they are all right, so they did not send in a proxy. Hopefully that's the case.
It's not a question, so this is it. There's nothing online.
Any other questions? Yes?
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to ask a question. My name is Henry Miller from Canadian Division, and I think on matters of governance, it's always good to ask. I know there's materials, but when you're changing the composition of a board, can you briefly explain the rationale for adding an additional vice president?
Vice President. Do you want to?
The rationale is originally, before the current constitutional framework was agreed in 2013, there used to be more than 2 vice presidents. It is felt that with 9 divisions, having only 2, effectively 3 honorary officers plus 2 past presidents, does limit the scope for members from a wider range of divisions to have the opportunity to hold honorary office and to lend their skills and attributes in the management and oversight of the institute. It has become, since the constitutional framework was reset in 2013, an executive committee has been formed comprising the honorary officers. We now ensure that we have a better spread of members representing a broader range of divisions, and it's felt having that extra vice president will give greater scope for particularly smaller divisions also to have their opportunity to take their, to have the responsibility of honorary office and to volunteer their services for the benefit of the institute. Hope that helps.
Thank you. Well, the provision is put in place so that if in the event that we need to make use of it, it is available. Thank you. Any other questions?
We have one question here. Okay. We have one question from online. Assuming that the change of name is passed, what is the recommendation to Hong Kong and other divisions on their name, if at all?
The change of name that we are voting for today is for the International Institute. There is no mandate to govern the division's name, so divisions are free to decide what they want to call themselves. But you might be aware several of our divisions have already changed their names to Governance Institute, like in Australia and New Zealand. So after today's meeting, I'm sure all the divisions would have to look into their own name and see whether they want to make a change. There is no prescription for changing the name. And thank you for that question from Hong Kong, 4:30 a.m. in the morning. So if there are no further questions, maybe we should just press on. The resolutions will be voted by a poll as provided under Bylaw 37.1. Taking a poll on the resolutions ensures that all the votes of our members are taken into account, whether or not they are able to join us here today. We will now conduct a poll on the 12 resolutions. I will hand you over to Simon Osborne, who will explain how the poll will be conducted.
Ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are entitled to vote should already have in your possession a blue poll card, which you will have received at registration prior to admission to the meeting. On a poll, only members or their appointed proxies are entitled to vote. Each member who has been identified on our register of members as being entitled to vote has one vote. If you are representing more than one member, the poll card you've been given will reflect all the members' votes you are holding, and this will have been explained to you at registration. If you've already appointed a proxy to vote for you and you do not wish to change the way you have voted or intend your votes to be cast, there is no need for you to complete a poll card, as your votes will be taken into account automatically. If you do wish to change the way you voted already, you will need to complete a poll card. Any questions? So do all those present who are entitled to vote and who wish to vote on the poll have the blue poll card that they require? If you haven't, do please raise your hand. Okay. I'm now going to cover the procedure for completion of the cards. If you have any questions, please ask me when I've completed my explanation. Please make sure that your poll card has your full name and your membership number. Please indicate how you wish your votes to be cast on each of the 12 resolutions with a cross in either the for, against or withheld boxes. Finally, please remember to sign the poll card. You will be allowed a short period of time to complete your cards, after which the chairman will close the meeting and ask you to put your cards in the box by the door as you leave the meeting. Now, can I just check if any more poll cards are required? So if you now just complete your poll cards. So I think we're just going to pause there, ladies and gentlemen, because we have got a couple of more online questions.
Yes, come a little bit belatedly, but we'll take those too.
Happy for me to read it out?
Yes.
It's in two parts. If total membership is plus north of 29,000, is the numbers indicated on the proxies received indicative of the views of the members? Did divisions undertake enough communication to members for them to participate in the elections? I'm happy to. Just in terms of communication and so forth, this vote and this AGM was signaled first in a report from the President after our March meeting, then a report from the President after our June meeting, and then a report from the President just after a new President, Edith, was appointed in August. So we began communicating with members earlier this year. Most divisions had their proxies distributed to them via ERS, which is the online voting system. We put that vote out there, or put the proxies out there, and had 3 reminders about a fortnight apart, each of those reminders going into each member's inbox. In addition to that, I know that a number of divisions would have also supplemented that communication with members from their own communication. So I guess I leave it to the judgment of others as to whether or not that is sufficient, but all members would have had 4, 5, 6 reminders of the vote.
May I add to that? Just as regards the largest division, I'm also the Chief Executive of the UCRAT division. We held at least 20 town hall meetings to alert members. These were all well publicised. We also did a webcast so that members in the associated territories whom we were not able to get to physically had the opportunity also to find out about the proposals and to comment on them if they wish to do so. So I just add that really by way of colour, that the considerable efforts have been made to communicate with the members and alert them and encourage them to participate in the voting.
Thank you, Simon.
Shall I continue? So just continuing with the vote then, so in the absence of questions, our staff will be holding a box by the door to receive your poll cards as you leave the meeting. I'm now going to hand back to the chairman, who will close the meeting, and the poll will close 10 minutes after the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. Ladies and gentlemen, that completes the business of this annual general meeting. May I remind you again to put your poll cards in the box by the door as you leave the meeting, and that the poll will close in 10 minutes' time at 4:42. My watch is a little bit advanced all the time. 4:42. Once the results of the poll have been confirmed by the appointed scrutineer, Electoral Reform Services, they will be posted on the Institute and divisional websites as soon as possible. This is expected to be completed by close of business tomorrow at the latest. I now declare the meeting closed, and thank you for coming. Thank you also to the members online for participating. The poll will close in the next 9 minutes, and if you have not put your poll card in the box, please do so now. So we have to wait for another 9 minutes.